Have you ever met someone who almost never raises their voice? Someone who stays calm when everyone else is falling apart, who rarely complains, rarely reacts on impulse, and somehow always looks composed, even in the middle of life's biggest storms. From the outside, these people can seem incredibly strong. You admire their patience, their emotional control, the way they carry on like nothing could really shake them. But appearances can be misleading, because sometimes what looks like strength is actually survival. That quiet confidence you see today may have been built on years of fear nobody ever witnessed. The calm you admire may have been learned in places where showing emotion only made life more dangerous. Even the silence may not be a personality trait at all. It may be a habit the nervous system built long ago to protect itself. Because here's the truth: some people were never taught the world was a safe place. Instead, they learned to scan every room before walking in, to catch the smallest shift in someone's tone, to brace for disappointment before letting themselves hope. Over time, those responses stopped feeling like choices. They became automatic, woven quietly into how the brain reads the world. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of deep emotional pain. It doesn't always leave visible scars. It changes the way a person thinks, the way they trust, the way they love, and sometimes it changes the very structure of the brain itself. So maybe the real question isn't why some people seem so different after everything they've been through. Maybe the better question is this: what if emotional pain doesn't just hurt us? What if it quietly rebuilds the person we become? There's a common belief that emotional pain lives only in our memories, that once enough time passes, the mind just files it away, like an old photo in a drawer. But the brain doesn't work that way. When pain becomes overwhelming, especially when it's repeated, unpredictable, or impossible to escape, the brain stops treating it as a one-time event. It starts preparing for the chance it could happen again. Its first priority is no longer comfort, it's survival. Deep inside the brain is a small structure called the amygdala. Think of it as an internal alarm system, constantly scanning for danger, often before we're even aware of it. Normally, that alarm helps us react fast to real threats, but after long stretches of emotional pain, it can get far more sensitive than it used to be. Instead of waiting for obvious danger, it starts reacting to small things. A delayed text, a change in someone's expression, an unusual silence. None of those automatically means something's wrong, but to a brain that learned through painful experience, they can feel like the start of another wound. That's why some people notice details others completely miss. They're not overreacting. Their brain just got exceptionally good at spotting the patterns that once helped them stay safe. And whenever the brain senses a threat, it releases stress hormones like cortisol. In small amounts, cortisol is useful. It sharpens attention and prepares the body to act. The problem starts when the brain believes danger is everywhere. Then that survival response gets easier to trigger and harder to switch off. Living like that is like driving with one foot on the brake and the other hovering over the gas. Even in quiet moments, the nervous system never fully relaxes. There's also the hippocampus, which helps sort memories by answering one simple question: is this happening now, or did it happen before? After significant pain, that system can get disrupted. Instead of storing painful experiences as finished chapters, the brain keeps treating them as unfinished possibilities. So the present gets filtered through the past. A harmless disagreement feels strangely familiar. A loving relationship still triggers a fear of being abandoned. Not because the situation is dangerous, but because the brain is trying to stop history from repeating. And that points to something bigger. The brain is a predictive brain. Rather than only reacting to the present, it's constantly guessing what's most likely to happen next, based on everything it's learned before. If pain has been the strongest teacher, it naturally starts expecting more pain, not because it's pessimistic, and not because the person is broken, but because prediction is one of the brain's oldest survival strategies. Here's the hopeful part, though. The brain isn't fixed. One of its greatest strengths is neuroplasticity, its lifelong ability to build new pathways through repeated experience. The same brain that once learned to survive can slowly learn that safety is possible again. Now, this rewiring doesn't just make someone more guarded, it changes their entire way of seeing the world. Most people move through life assuming others are trustworthy until proven otherwise. For someone whose emotional world has been shaken again and again, that assumption often doesn't exist anymore. Safety is no longer the starting point, it's something that has to be earned. So instead of asking, "Can I trust this person?" their mind quietly asks, "What might I be missing?" Not because they're cynical, but because uncertainty once came with a cost their nervous system never forgot. Early experiences also shape what psychologists call attachment patterns, the unconscious expectations we build about closeness and safety. When those early experiences are marked by inconsistency, betrayal, or neglect, the brain learns that love and safety don't always arrive together. As adults, that lesson follows them. They might care deeply about someone yet struggle to relax in the relationship. They might crave closeness, then pull away when someone gets too close, or they become fiercely independent, convinced that needing no one is the safest way to avoid being hurt again. From the outside, that distance can look cold. In reality, it's usually protection, not rejection. Many also build remarkably strong boundaries, and that's different from building walls. Walls keep everyone out. Healthy boundaries protect what matters most. They get more selective about who gets their time and trust, and they start to see that constantly sacrificing themselves isn't compassion, it's exhaustion dressed up as kindness. There's another quiet change psychologists sometimes call emotional masking. Many become experts at looking stable while carrying enormous weight inside. They smile when they're overwhelmed. They stay calm during conflict, not because nothing affects them, but because they learned that showing distress once came at a price. Eventually, that calm exterior gets so convincing that even the people closest to them have no idea how much is happening underneath. And here's the irony. While pain can make it harder to trust, it often makes them far better at understanding others. Having lived through emotional complexity themselves, they recognize it everywhere. The forced smile that hides exhaustion, the laughter covering loneliness, the anger that's really fear. Their compassion becomes quieter and more genuine because it comes from recognition instead of assumption. Pain doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you see the world. Now, when people talk about surviving emotional pain, the focus usually lands on what was lost. But there's another part of the story we rarely talk about, because it's much quieter. It's the strength that slowly emerges afterward. And let's be clear, this does not mean suffering is a gift, or that painful things happen for a reason. No one needs to be hurt to become wise. Pain is never a requirement for growth. But when people are forced to face things they never asked for, something remarkable can happen, not because of the pain, but because of how the mind adapts to keep moving forward. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth. Unlike resilience, which is bouncing back after hardship, post-traumatic growth is deeper. It's the slow process of rebuilding a life with new perspective, new priorities, and sometimes a greater appreciation for what actually matters. The experience doesn't erase the wound, it changes the person carrying it. Many start to value peace over achievement, authenticity over approval, meaning over appearances. The things that once felt urgent fade, and the things once overlooked, a quiet morning, an honest conversation, can suddenly feel deeply significant. Pain can also sharpen what psychologists call emotional intelligence. Not overnight, but because they've spent years learning to navigate complicated feelings inside themselves. They often sense a shift in someone's mood before a word is spoken. That awareness isn't a superpower. It's the result of a brain that spent years paying close attention in order to stay safe. It's also why many seem unusually calm when a real crisis hits. It's not that they feel less fear, It's that they've already learned what it means to function while afraid. And maybe the most profound change is the search for meaning. After surviving something that once felt unbearable, many people start asking a different question. Not, why did this happen to me? But, what kind of person do I want to become because it happened? That shift doesn't erase grief, and it doesn't justify the suffering. It simply turns pain from something that only happened to them into part of a story they choose to write from here. Their strength wasn't born from suffering. It was built by surviving it. So what does healing actually look like? A lot of people picture it as going back to who they were before everything fell apart. But healing rarely looks like going backward, because the person who existed before the pain doesn't quite exist anymore, and maybe they were never meant to. Instead, many psychologists describe recovery a different way. Healing begins when the nervous system slowly relearns what safety feels like. Not perfect safety, not a life without uncertainty, just the quiet confidence that even when hard emotions show up, they don't have to control every decision you make. And this usually happens through hundreds of ordinary moments, not one dramatic breakthrough. A conversation where you let yourself be honest, a relationship where your boundaries are respected, a moment when your body realizes that disagreement doesn't mean abandonment. Each one becomes new evidence that the present isn't always a repeat of the past, and little by little, the brain updates its predictions. That's why healing is rarely about forcing yourself to think positive. The nervous system can't be argued into feeling safe. It learns through repeated experiences of consistency and connection. Another essential piece is self-compassion. Many survivors are endlessly understanding toward everyone else's pain while staying relentlessly hard on their own. They judge themselves for being anxious, for struggling to trust, for needing more time than others seem to. But if pain shaped those responses, healing can't start with self-condemnation. It starts with curiosity. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" the question slowly becomes, "What happened to me? And what has my mind been trying to protect me from?" Because compassion doesn't excuse unhealthy patterns. It creates the safety needed to change them. And as healing continues, people learn to integrate the past instead of trying to erase it. The painful memories stay part of their story, but they stop defining every chapter. The past becomes something they carry, not somewhere they keep living. This is where emotional flexibility quietly replaces emotional survival. Instead of reacting automatically to every reminder of danger, they learn to pause, reflect, and choose their response. Fear may still show up, sadness may still visit, but neither one has to run the future. Imagine meeting two people who smile the same way. They laugh at the same jokes. From the outside, nothing suggests one life has been profoundly different from the other. Yet inside, one of them is carrying scars no one can see. They'll never show up on an X-ray. And still, they quietly shape how that person moves through the world every day. How deeply they let themselves love, how easily they trust, how quickly they brace for disappointment. Even the moments they choose to stay silent. So maybe we should be more careful before calling someone cold, or distant, or too sensitive. We rarely know the invisible experiences that taught them to become who they are. Every person you meet is carrying a history you can't see. Some histories leave memories, others quietly reshape the architecture of a life. But emotional pain doesn't have to be the final chapter. The experiences that once taught the brain to survive don't have to decide how the rest of the story is lived. With understanding, safety, and time, people can build lives that are no longer defined by what happened to them, but by how they keep moving forward. Not untouched, not unchanged, but stronger in ways that are often invisible, wiser in ways that can't be measured, and more compassionate, because they know what silent battles really look like. Healing isn't becoming who you were, it's learning to feel safe as the person you've become. And maybe surviving was never the end of your story. Maybe it was the beginning of becoming someone entirely new. If you recognized yourself somewhere in this today, remember this. The reactions you may have spent years criticizing aren't always signs that something is wrong with you. Sometimes they're simply the lasting fingerprints of a nervous system that did everything it could to help you survive. And if you want to keep exploring how our hidden experiences shape the mind, our relationships, and the people we become, join us again here at Deep Ravines Psychology Lab. Until next time, take care of your mind and be patient with the story it's still learning to rewrite.